Welcome. Um, to our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. Excuse my green tea. I'm eating these sour pickle balls
Oh my God.
from Alamo Candy from San Antonio, but I didn't know that they were reaction candies. And now all my teeth are green and my
Are they
tongue's
good?
green. Whatever.
Are they good
We'll
at
see.
least?
They're interesting. I like them. I
Okay.
like them a lot. So I'm gonna do a reaction video for those of you guys watching. Welcome to our recaps and rants. This is something new we're doing where, yes, we're going to recap the episodes, but we're also going to rant. You're going to get two, three, four different opposing opinions, all hashing it out and discussing it like it's a football game, because honestly, this is sport for me. Now we're
Me.
just waiting for Mell NYC to join us, and we're going to start recapping the episode. But in the meantime, we are joined by the lovely, not paid by anyone, Mariam. You guys know
Oh,
the deal. Say what's up to Mariam. And also, what else is going on? We're going to start reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac every Sunday at 9:30. And we're going to start reviewing the Real House of Beverly Hills every Wednesday at 9:30. So you guys, rain or shine, people will actually be there. In any case, I see there is one person in the chat. That's good.
listen.
But we could talk about this anyway. Clearly, people definitely have interest in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Usually we don't come on Monday night, but here we are, here we are, here we are. Okay, so listen. I think that's it. Is there in before we get to the recap? Is there any other things that we should be paying attention to? Yes. I I already had a TikTok, but I'm going to actually start posting more on my TikTok. My TikTok is Tattle Tells. Go ahead and check that out. It'll be really, really fun. So it's going to be jokes. It's going to be lifestyle. Of course, it's going to be gossip. I'm going to start posting travel, where I eat at, what I do, my rants, whatever. It's going to be like this, a chaotic mess. If you like the chaos, then you'll like this. Okay, so listen. Let's start it off. Mariam, what did you think of this episode? Let's do an overall rating. What did you think of this episode?
5.
That's interesting. Why do you give it a 5?
Because, and the 5 only for the last 5 minutes. I feel like I hate when they don't let the thing play out. I feel like the argument should have started and ended either with Miss Disengaging leaving, but not like that cliffhanger, which, to be honest with you, I feel like it lost its power at this point. Because now, like, okay, they started fighting, and then it's easy. Just let like them fight, and we can be friends and move on.
No, I agree with you on that one about the fighting and about moving on. I agree with you on this one. This episode let us see a little bit more into their home life. Um, you know, the one girl, her daughters want to leave the Mormon church. Hey, Culinaire, what's going on? How are you? You finally, this is late night for you. This is not late night. We're off to a little slow start because we're going live at a time we never go live. But it doesn't matter because you guys will catch this in the replay. For all you guys watching the replay, listen, let's get down into it. I do actually think, oh, here's Mell, New York City. Hey, Mell, what's going on?
Hey, ladies, how you doing?
Hey.
Oh, thank you, T. Cohen. I appreciate it. T. Cohen says, I don't know anything about this show. I'm just supporting. Hey, T. So we
Aw,
appreciate that.
cute,
Culinaire
cute.
said, hey, listen. Culinaire said that she said, I'm finally catching a late night dive. And she's like, for me, sometimes I'll be up at 11:30, 2 in the morning, but y'all know me. So listen, you're just supporting. Hey, Team
Hey, Team
Twirl.
Twirl.
Hey,
Vote for
everybody. So
Kenya.
listen, we were just asking Mariam what she thought of the episode. What did you think of the episode, Mell?
The Housewives of Salt Lake City. It it has some funny moments, or at least it has some interesting moments. I think. I was really interested in the friendship between Mary and Brooks. I guess it developed over
Hey,
time.
Alex.
Yeah.
There's a link, Alex, if you want to jump on board. But go on between Mary and Brooks. What were you saying?
No, I like the friendship between Mary and Brooks. what else did I like? I actually took some notes. I'm going to pull them up a little bit.
Okay, well, while you're pulling the notes up, I think the interesting thing was we learned a little bit about the characters in our home lives. One of the things we actually learned was the fact that Jenny, is that her, the Vietnamese
Yeah.
Jenny and her husband. I thought there was something off the way she quit to be a stay-at-home mom, which is fine, right? It's a lot of people's dreams, but the way she was always like, "Oh my god, like why am I here?" Right? Even though her kids are super cute, they have a super close relationship. The husband's cool, but I couldn't figure out. I hope they're doing this for a storyline and not like actually playing out real life. Because here's real life. Remember when was it Meredith's husband who showed up drunk at the table in season 1 and was like, "Let me see your phone. What's going on? Are you seeing somebody?" And she put Meredith on the spot, and Meredith was like, "Oh my god!" Right? That was some real TV. But with her, I was like, I hope this is a storyline because this woman said she had 9 miscarriages, 3 cesareans. Literally, I shuddered in pain, right? 3 cesareans, and he's still pushing her, like, come on, come on, come on, have another baby, do this, do that. I was
That's
just like, yeah, he seems like a jerk right here, but I hope it's
Mm-hmm.
a storyline. But she looked really, really annoyed when he was talking to her about it. So I don't know. I don't really know. It was
He
just
was.
I
He
weird.
don't
was.
think she would lie on it. Do you think she would lie about something like that?
No, not lie, but maybe it's something that they both know, and this is their storyline. Her not being able to conceive, and him being like, "Come on, come on, come on, let's have a baby." Even though they both agreed, "Yeah, we're not putting your life at risk. We're not going to have any babies for you. We're not going to have any babies." Like a
Yeah, it's
storyline, like yeah, kind of like the way Kyle and Mauricio, Dorit, and PK. You can tell they each couple respectively talked about this in detail for days, and now they're on camera being like, "But what do you mean? What did Erica do?" "Oh, no, 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 no. Erica would never do that." You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Hey, Minerva, what's going on? Hey, Anita. I don't know. It just struck me as like he's a bit of a jerk, but then again, he could have really been um uh uh he could have really been, doing stuff,
But she
right?
looked to me. She looked petrified. She looked utterly petrified. And I think that again, I'm not a woman, so I don't know the trauma of having miscarriages and the emotional toll. But it just was almost like he was on automatic. He didn't listen to her. He wasn't, really paying attention. It seemed to me, if you've had 9 or I don't know how many medical traumatic experiences, and your husband's constantly asking you to open yourself up to do it again, that just seems very insensitive. It was very chilling. But I think in
It
the
was
other episode, they sort of set it up that she set it up, or the producer set it up and said, "Well, in our religion, we are seen as more wealthy or more powerful when we have more children." So then we cut to this episode, and he's pressuring her to have, some kind of, get pregnant again. I would think, what about adoption? What about
surrogacy, right?
surrogacy?
I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
everyone's doing it.
I think some men, it's because of their cultural background. Like she explained it at the beginning, saying
Mhm,
like in their culture, the
Mm-hmm.
bigger the family, the wealthier you're considered. But
mhm.
I feel like these two, they're no dummies. He's a chiropractor. It's the next best thing next to a doctor, right? Like almost. Um, but I think if he's doing that really intentionally, he wants her despite of her health or risks. That seems like he just wants to keep her under control. Like because when a woman is pregnant, really, she's very limited to drinking. She can drink. She can go out.
True.
She's she's tired. Maybe there's some into it, but I hope not. I hope they're just
Well,
doing it for storyline.
I hope so too. The only thing about that made me think it was a storyline is because for him to be that much of a jerk to suggest this after, and you would think there would be unhappiness in the home. The kids seem super happy. They seem super well adjusted. They seem
Yeah,
to have a really, really loving family and not like with fake smiles. There's just like a natural ease. Even when somebody drops something or says something, the way everybody will start giggling, father, mother, and children. It seems like they have, like, again, there's a lot of love in that house. And I know everybody has arguments and shouting behind doors, maybe, but it seems like there's a lot of love in that house. So I was like, this doesn't match up. Somebody that's just like, You're going to stay barefoot and pregnant in my house. I don't care
You're
if you're going to
right.
have 12 miscarriages. And now the kids are giggling. I was just like, I don't know. There's just some light to it.
The real star is the daughter. Oh my God, she's amazing.
Hey, Alex Salt TV, how are
Hey,
Hey,
you?
Tisa. Hey, Mariam. Hey, Mell.
Hey.
hey.
Hey, what's going on? We're just talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. As you know, we're about to get into reviewing the episode, and we want to get your idea of what the rating was. But before that, we were just talking about that odd scene where Jenny's husband was like, "Yeah, I know you've had 11 miscarriages and 26
Oh my
sections,
God.
but
Oh
do
my
you like
God.
Oh my
let's
God.
get it popping? Come on, one more. What did you think he was doing that for her storyline, or he was dead serious?
I think he's dead serious. I actually asked my husband about it. He's Vietnamese too, and it's a
Is it
Vietnamese
Oh.
thing. Like,
really?
yeah, having I guess having a lot of kids is seen as a good thing, but he's complete trash for that. Like I said this. I think the last episode when he kept talking about the kids, I was like, this is really weird. She literally just said she had 9 miscarriages, and you're still trying to get her to have more kids. Like, come on, like that makes no sense to me. Like, how selfish can you be? You already have 3 amazing kids, and you want more? Fucking adopt then. Like, there's kids who need
Mhm.
to be like adopted. You can't do that. Like, I don't know. That's just crazy to me.
Well,
I don't like that at all.
okay, but maybe he has like a number two already lined up, and he's like, "Have another baby, it's
Oh
fine." And
God.
she's like, "This might end me," and he's like, "Fingers crossed," you know.
And
Let's
well, we
see.
did see in the trailer that he says he's gonna say something about his sister wife later. So maybe
Yeah,
that's what he
I saw the
wants.
comment.
Wait, are they Mormon or no?
No,
I don't think so.
no. She
Okay,
converted into Catholic. He's a Catholic. He's an avid Catholic.
okay, so they're Catholic. Okay,
I
all
don't,
right,
I don't
that
know.
would make
Maybe
sense.
she
Okay,
was
so
Catholic when they came in the ship, but she converted to another sect of Christianism. Can someone help me, please? I'm the last to ask, but that she converted into his
Episcopalian, Marian.
Mm.
Episcopalian.
I'm
I
just
don't.
making that up. I don't know.
Anyhow, oh, maybe
Baptist.
they're gonna go to Mary's church. Maybe they're gonna go to,
Let me
or
start
else
spreading
Jesus
this
is gonna.
information. She's Baptist now. She's been anointed in the blood of Christ, and her steps are ordered. So, you guys, I need to actually know this too, right? The episode, Alex, what did you rank this episode? Because Mariam ranked it a 5. Mel, you ranked it a 3.9. What did you rate this episode?
Uh,
Oh.
I personally rate it like a 9 out of 10. I think that once Meredith showed
Whoa!
up, it was like amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, 2 questions. Why did you rank it a 9 out of 10? And how much is Bravo paying you?
Oh. Oh.
I
Because
mean,
there ain't no
I
way.
think
Go.
You read my mind.
the first like 40 minutes is kind of bland, but I think once Meredith showed off and they really got into the argument with like Jen and Meredith, I thought that was like really, really good confrontation. And we finally get to see Meredith finally engaging. And to me, I've been wanting to see that for a long time. So that was just amazing to me. I think that whole winter scene where they're on the ice, I thought that was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I
Listen,
did.
the imagery was beautiful. I'm sick of Bravo doing high, low episodes where when the last episode gave, the next one will give you nothing until the last 3 minutes. And then half
Mhm.
of those 3 minutes are split into the coming soon. But the thing about the Jen Shaw Meredith thing is, Jen Shaw I thought was actually pretty reasonable. Where I know it's hard to reasonable and Jen Shaw, who knows, but it's just odd in
Just
the fact that if we engage in argument, there needs to be a mutually agreed to rules of engagement. A ground we're both standing on, right? And oddly enough, Jen Shaw was a more reasonable person when Meredith was like, "What about my child? You don't help them," and she's like, "Okay, but what about my children?" And you saw Meredith's mind just blowing up, like, "Your children matter," and then she stormed off. I thought that was because, again, outing someone, especially in the community, but also she was liking things on Twitter. Did anybody even notice that if Meredith didn't say anything? And who didn't know that Brooks was gay? I'm being dead serious.
yeah, yeah. This is where like it gets. I actually yesterday I thought you were gonna ask us whose side you're on, because I'm gonna tell you whose side I am on here. But before all the legal drama, because I can't take that off my head right now. But then I didn't know what she did. So I am on Jen's side here. And I would totally believe that she's not the one that handles her Twitter or her social media accounts, which that's very irresponsible in this day and age. listen, she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Come on. She's really, can't you see that she says, oh, you do this, you're responsible for this. And maybe they are upset with Meredith and they say, oh, we're going to like this tweet. Like without even referring to her. Just think about it. She's pretending to be a businesswoman who glams at least 10 hours a day. Will she have time to go through Twitter and Instagram? So I kind of believe when she says it's not her, but that's a cop out. I wish she told Meredith, you know what? I'm going to talk with my staff and those who handle my social media accounts. I will tell them, do not like anything. I will set guidelines. I think this way she would have gotten herself out of this fiasco. But back to Miss Disengaging, who engaged only last 5 minutes of the show. I think she is overreacting. And don't get me wrong, moms out there, I'm a mom. My thing is, if nobody ever thought that he seems to, I don't know what, I don't want to offend anybody, but he is queerish. He is. And everybody can see that. So it's not like he's out or someone outed him, and nobody knew that he has never spoken on it. I felt like when they started the show, this was common knowledge. To be honest with you, as a viewer, I thought everybody knew that he is gay. But then again, I feel like she's overreacting just to secure her spot in the show because she was very lackluster last season.
You know what I think
that doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, what I think is again, I don't know, I'm still new to the series, so I do like Meredith. I mean, I like sort of her frozenness, and I love all her coldness and all those kind of weird things. But for me, again, my mother, God bless her, she was very protective of me, and so anybody who stepped up to say something or do something out of control, she was the ultra mama bear. So I really connect with that. That being said, it was a little disjointed and a little, off kilter with her reaction. I think that maybe she could have done Mary was the MVP for me because she was so kooky and crazy, but she reminded me of an aunt. She was like, wait a minute, you saying a grown woman is attacking your son? Where's she at? Where you ain't talked to her? What's going on? That is home to me, that kind of energy. So I think that to go somewhere publicly and sort of be awkward and nervous and all that kind of stuff, she should have just pulled her to the side and said, listen, whether you are tweeting it or liking it, I don't want you doing anything in regard to my son. If you have a problem with him, you talk to me, and really hold your center for that. And I think that Jen have to be responsible and say, listen, I wouldn't want anybody talking about my children and their religion, about Muslim or whatever, and send them that to whoever. It can go both ways. You can have anti-gay. You can also have Muslim-based prejudice. So if Heather was liking some kind of terrible thing, she would be upset about that too. And she can sit in front of her and say, I didn't know. I was unconscious about this. So it's
so that's a good point. But just to interject, now roll it back. Didn't Brooks kind of start this?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, when he said her was flashing all over my face,
okay.
Meredith Jen has children. That was actually very disrespectful of him to say, and also to get people talking. Now, again, is him throwing that shade at her? That wasn't even shade. That was actually, especially in a conservative culture, right? And even in that scene, Brooks had a lot of disdain for Jen. A lot. It almost made me think that Brooks wants to be his mommy's best friend. And he was even annoyed that, like, when Jen came around, his mom was like, go away, go away, go away, right? So there was just like this weird, like, aggression he had to Jen. And also, right? You're saying that you would have appreciated if Jen had been like, okay, I'll talk to the people, see what happened. I'm sorry. I would appreciate it if Jen was like, all right, I did it. Now what? Now what? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Now what? I would appreciate that. I did it. Now what? Your son played me on national TV. My kids didn't like it. My husband was embarrassed. I like that tweet. Now what? Did I mean to out him? No, but it happened. Now what? I would have appreciated that type of thing.
Okay. I gotta interject though, because I'm on the opposite side of this. I feel like going back to what you said about Brooks and his sexuality. I mean, me as a viewer, I'm like, he's definitely gay. I'm gay. I can see it a mile away. But that doesn't mean just because he has certain mannerism or he's super feminine, that doesn't mean that anyone has a right to try to basically out him on TV. If you guys remember that scene where she was basically flashing everyone, which they didn't really show it. They kind of edited it. She was saying like grinder, which is obviously a gay dating app. So he probably felt like she was trying to shade him because he wasn't at the time. He wasn't out yet. So you have someone on national TV trying to make these gay jokes. She probably, in Jen's mind, she probably thought that he was out. She probably thought, hey, you know,
I
he's
think
gay.
Jen
I can
thought
say
he was
these
out.
jokes.
No, other than that,
Right.
she was close with the whole family.
Right.
Here's the thing.
But he never came
not
out though. So
12
it
years
doesn't.
old.
He never came out to anybody. He didn't come out to his mom. He didn't come out to Jen. So it's not her place to
That's
But how
new.
did
like
somebody
these
come out,
tweets
That
though?
is
and
new. I don't think so. I think they are playing on it. Like he came off, you call it aggression. I might go further and agree with Mary when she called Heather. I feel like he has a lot of biases and he's an elitist. This is
Oh
Brooks
yeah.
and he's
Oh
over
yeah.
18 and nobody comes after me because of this. I feel like it's different. Like for me, I don't want anybody to say, well, yesterday you were saying family off limits. Well, I don't think me as mom is getting paid, but Brooks is a character in the show. Brooks is being supported by Andy Cohen. He is pushing his jumpsuits left and right. He wears them. He tags him. He brought him to. So he's a paid cast. He is. He's making tons of money out of the show. And when he was introduced to us, he was doing Botox. He was doing like stuff with his mom. It was understood that he is gay and everybody knows. It wasn't like,
that doesn't mean he's gay though, just
but-
because he does those certain
So
things.
just to
I
interrupt
think
you,
we're
Alex.
placing characteristics on what we believe is gay. Maybe he's bi. Maybe he really. Maybe he's gay, but he really doesn't know yet. Maybe he's never had a boyfriend.
Okay.
That's very possible.
But Eric,
I think
I'm
you guys
sorry.
are putting things on him that are not. He hasn't actually spoken on himself, and I think that's the problem.
And I think that's why Meredith is kind of
interject,
crazy.
I think the issue is, yes, if she outed him, 100%, that was wrong. It's his story to tell. My whole thing is, and maybe Jen didn't say it because it wasn't the truth, but I thought that she was under the impression that she thought that he might have been, that she assumed that he was out, which you're right, that was wrong for her to assume, right? It was super wrong. I didn't, again, maybe Jen doesn't know the logistics of people coming out. But again, to that point, if that's the case, then Jen would have actually said, I didn't know. Everybody thought so. I'm sorry. And she would have tried to back it up, but she didn't. She just looked at her with a blank face. So I guess you're right when it comes down to it. That was wrong. She actually did know she was outing him, or she knew that his sexuality was the worst kept secret or the best kept secret. Or
I was gonna say to Mariam,
whatever it is. And did he ever end up coming out? Has
I
Brooks
don't
come out?
think
He
so.
still has not come
But
out.
I want to say
Okay, so then we're making assumptions. Okay, I thought he came out after this. Okay, never mind. I take it back. So I'm
but I
making
want-
assumptions based off the fact that it was the worst kept secret. But you're right. Just because of somebody's mannerisms, the way they talk, the way they act, who knows?
But I want to say straight
you know?
to Mariam. I want to say straight to Mariam is this, that I think, again, I don't know his age, but no matter, for me, I just think that with Jen, I think that Jen and Meredith issues is not Brooks, in my opinion. I think that the two women have differences, and I think if they would sit down as two women and say, "Listen, I have children, you have children. Let's just sort of take the kids off the table. I am so sorry, girl, that I in a way hurt your son's feelings or something." And as I said to Mary, will say to Mary, yeah, Brooks is a hot, he could be a hot mess aside from his sexuality. He could be a little, a little shady. Da, 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 da. But that being said, the two women need to get together and talk about their issues as two women. And my issue is that for me, for Jen, and I think what Tisha was saying too, yeah, there's some microaggressions going on in the cast, but I just think that Jen, if you have an issue with Heather, just try to not see Brooks. Just go straight to Heather herself, deal with her one-on-one. Don't do any little sneaky, shady things that is regard to Brooks. I think the guy himself, he's questioning himself. I remember for years they used to say before Johnny Wick came out that he was gay, and he never really talked about his sexuality until he came out. But he dressed, he served, he did all that kind of stuff. And I think Brooks is doing the same thing. I think that it takes a long time for some people to really embrace who they are, but they live their truth.
But that's even if, like, to you guys' point, that's even if he actually is gay. Now,
that's
about
true.
the power struggle, about the power struggle that they may be having. Somebody made an interesting point in the comments saying that Meredith might not really even be that upset about the Brooks thing. It might be also you outed allegedly my son, or tried to out him, implying that he was gay. but you also definitely outed my affair. So maybe she still has that thing, like it's on site, like Jen breathes, and she was just like, why are you breathing so loud? And before you know it, it's like, okay.
I think this is you're hitting the nail on the head, and I feel like for me, I remember when Brooks was telling her, even before that, he like after it happened, I feel like she flashed him because she was close with the family. Maybe Jen knew and she didn't know that, I don't know, he was out or something. Maybe this is why she felt so comfortable in front of Brooks, because she said she loves Meredith's children just like hers, and they used to spend a lot of time together because Seth is never there and neither is Coach Shah. So they were close like that, to the point that she would go out with someone in front of her and not tell Lisa, her bestie, supposedly. So I think she's just using this as a retaliation to her being outed about her, affair during the break. I don't know if you can call it an affair, but like I think she's really mad at Jen for that. And Jen, she's doubling down because she feels there is a double standard. Why you guys are only worried about Brooks? What about what Brooks said about me? I have children and family too. So Jen here, and I agree with her, like nobody even acknowledged the fact that her family, or her kids especially, would be upset about that. I feel like when both level, like they need to acknowledge that both hurt each other. Brooks hurt Jen. She shouldn't have done what she did, but she did. But then again, come to a middle ground and agree that both parties are on the wrong here.
Okay, but what about this? Agree, I get with you, but to the point, first of all, so nobody outing anybody is bad. Talking about anybody's sexuality when they do not want it to be talked about, whether you're LGBTQ, whether you are hetero, whatever it is, it's just like it's just disgusting. It's gross. The only thing is, and I like Jen, even though she might be going to the pokey next year. I like Jen, but there is something with the fact she couldn't bring herself to actually say the words, I didn't know. And the fact that it didn't occur to her to say, I didn't know. I thought he was. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Makes me think that it's like, it really was what Meredith was saying. You were being vindictive. You were hitting that like button. I understand people being busy, and I'm never on Twitter, hardly on Instagram. But I'm sure if I felt like being petty, I got 5 minutes to be like, hold on, let me pull up Mell. I'll insult her, Mariam. It's like, and hit that like button. So it's like, we all have time.
I think that going back to what you guys were saying earlier about Meredith basically being the one who's pretty much the aggressor in the argument, and then she wanted to disengage whenever it got too hot. I don't know about you guys, but when I argue with someone and I feel like they're not trying to take accountability, I'm not going to sit there and waste my time and keep arguing. If they're not willing to take accountability, then what's the point? Like, why I'm wasting my time? And she did the same thing with Heather. She's like, I never said anything about you. And then Heather had to pull out, like someone said earlier, she had to pull out the receipts. Like, you said all these things. This is your name. Like, this is from you. So it's like, why am I going to waste time with someone who's not going to take accountability? Just say, I hired somebody. They like these tweets. If she really didn't do it, if someone actually really did do it for her, and say, I'm gonna put them in check. They shouldn't have done that, and I'm sorry that they did that.
Is this what it is with Jen?
It's that
she
simple.
has trouble taking accountability in the fact that Jen strikes me as a very emotional person, and we've all had friends that when they are in their emotions, it is scorched earth. They're cursing your whole bloodline. It is on site. It's war. And then when they calm down, you're like, you did this, you said this, and they're just like, they won't say sorry, but you can tell that they didn't mean it because it was an emotional response. They didn't really believe it. They were just trying to hurt your feelings. Do you think Jen's that type of friend? And Heather understands that?
Yeah, I think so. And
yeah,
also,
that's still not an excuse, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I also agree with what Alice was saying about people having to show evidence. I think that would have been an opportunity in that moment for her to go, oh yeah, I think that somebody did do this on my behalf. I'm sorry about this. Now, like when Mariam was saying, you know what? I want to let you know what's not on social media is my family is having some issues with the idea that I was flashing your family, and we having some difficulties with this. I feel embarrassed. Yeah. So she could have gave her point too after she apologized for that kind of thing. I think that if Meredith in reverse was hurting or disparaging one of Jen's children, then you see, I think the kids always have to be first. We have to settle what's happening with the kids. So,
He's not a kid.
so
He's
well,
not a kid.
well, who, what?
Well, yeah,
I
but
think with two
Well,
moms.
she's her,
know,
but he's
a
her
kid's
kid.
always your kid, though.
Thank you.
Is there
Yeah.
ever a time
Yeah.
that your mom or dad's going to stand there
Yeah,
and be
I'm
like,
still my mom's
that's your
kid. I'm
business?
25.
They're going to jump in and defend you.
Listen, my kids sometimes they say inappropriate things, but I don't just blindly defend them. I pull them to the side and I explain to them they did something wrong. We have seen nothing of this from Meredith's part. Brooks started. I'm gonna sound childish here, but he is the one who used derogatory terms towards her parts. So her parts are not as important as his sexuality. I feel like it's the same thing in my eyes. Just like she should have respected his sexuality, whatever he is, or not out him, he shouldn't have talked on her private parts. He should, and he did that first. So for me, it's like Meredith. Your son did wrong, and if you're close with the Jen, you shouldn't just like defend your son. And your son, he doesn't even take accountability that he wasn't the wrong. That is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. I'm not saying A, and both parties are retaliating the wrong way.
So do you think that
Maybe, but
Jen?
I
Oh, go
will
ahead. Yeah.
say, sorry to interrupt. Mariam, I get what you're saying, but are you, Mariam, if somebody attacked your child, even if your child was wrong, like you said, you pull them to the side. But
Right.
in public, you're still 10 toes down to them. Even if
Yeah.
you're 50 and your mom's 80, she's still going to be like, how dare you say that about my child? So I understand Meredith getting in Jen's face. And
Yeah,
also
but
to the point of, well, if I could just finish, also to the point of, it makes it difficult for Meredith because Brooks is looking at her like, Mommy, you're still cool with that person? So it's almost like, Jen, just give me this goddamn apology so
And
I can show
yes,
Brooks you're sorry
there
and
we
we can
go.
move on. But I can't
There
give
we
you
yeah,
go.
an apology.
but she should
And
have
then we
brought
can get
Brooks to
Brooks.
apologize to Jen.
Yeah, but that's
She
when.
should have done the
So no,
same.
I want to ask this. So I want to ask this. So do you think that do we think that somebody has to be the bigger person? I'm hoping in this season for this situation to be squashed that Jen, even though it's unfair, I know Mary, you feel it's unfair. Hope that Jen can be the bigger person. Say, you know what, girl, I'm so sorry for what's happening on my I know it. Listen, I'm so sorry what happened on my social media. Now we talking about Mariam. Your son have hurt my feelings, so we can just do it. Somebody has to be the bigger person. Who's going to do it? Is it going to be?
But it was on Meredith's hand to avoid the escalation. Just because, yes, I will defend my son with tooth and nails, but as a mom, my first job is also to show when my kid does something wrong, I have to explain to him. And since Jen, she is a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, someone that usually she comes and sleeps over my house. She's not a stranger. So she should have like brought her son, say, hey, that is wrong what you said, and it's wrong what you did. Like my son felt uncomfortable. I would appreciate, Jen, if you apologize to my son, and Brooks, you should apologize also for what you said on national TV. Like Brooks, he is the one who brought this to the forefront. Like that could have been an episode that we all would giggle and chuckle, but he made it a big deal when he started talking about Jen on the confessional. I'm telling you, he's one of the housewives. So this is why for me, he's always on the confessionals. Whose kids come on the confessional or who from the aggregate family has as much airtime as Brooks has? He's almost has the same time as his mom. His mom brings nothing. Without Brooks, she's nothing. He's eccentric, and she cashed on that. She should have told him, just apologize to Jen. That wasn't right what you said in the confessional. But Jen, my son felt uncomfortable too. I think that would have been squashed right there and there. That's
I
right.
think you're right, but again, and maybe I was raised in the most toxic household ever, but you never call your
No,
loved ones and hold them publicly to task. That happens
Yeah.
behind closed
it
doors.
didn't need
That
to be
happens
public.
internal over the thing, sitting there eating ice cream like, yo, you were wild for that. Why'd you do that? And that's when you talk to them about it. But in public, it's like, no, I'm going to be 10 toes down to the point of, okay, so what? But your child, okay, now what? Now what? Like, so what? Again, maybe Jen was raised in that same, again, you can maybe say it was toxic. You can just say it was whatever. Maybe she was raised in that type of household. And even Meredith, I just don't see anyone marching their child out on national TV, adult, to
But her
apologize to a
child
woman
is the
that tried
one.
to out him. Like,
Her
there's levels to
side-
this. Well,
No,
hold
wait.
on. Brooke is wrong for what he said about Jen.
Yeah.
But there's levels to this. That's like Brooke. No, I'm sorry. That's like Jen insulting Brooks, and then Brooks calling Jen a racial slur. There's levels to wrongness. I cannot put on the same level outing somebody in a very religious community at that, right? It's not like you live in Lower East Side of New
I
York.
don't
In a
know
very
about
religious
that.
community to someone, again, they're both wrong, but there's level to wrongness. I
Yeah,
do
but
think that
someone to
Jen
say
did
something about
is
my private
very.
part, someone to say that I was flashing, that's very personal. I would be
But she
extremely
did. But she did flash them. It happened. Why would she?
Yeah, she did.
Why would she do
But
in the
there
first
is
place
a
if
level
she
of
felt like it was
contact that
embarrassing?
I just think that in national TV, Brooks did not like his mom be hanging out with Jen for whatever reason, either because she's black or because she's married to a Muslim. And I said
Well,
it.
she's not black
black.
though. She's not black.
Well, I don't know. They
She's black
think
She
she's
thinks she's
black.
black, but
She's
she's
not
not
black.
black.
I'm not
Just
saying
because
she's
that girl got
black.
some Bronx braids, that girl's not
In
black.
Utah, I'm not saying she's black. In Utah,
And
they
getting
think she's
suppressed
black.
on the weekends. Stop it. She is not black.
No, in Utah, they think she's black. She said here they think I'm black. I'm talking from here.
And why
from
would they
his
do
eyes,
that,
his
Jen? Because
perspective.
you're wearing box braids and rocking silk press and Run DMC glasses. Like, Jen likes to present black, and that's fine. She's in love with black culture. But it's like me, like, I don't know why everybody thinks I'm Latino and I'm trying to speak Spanish, como se llama. I don't know, Tisa. Why does everybody? Like, stop it, Jen. Stop.
Yeah, but
Why
I'm
does everybody
talking
think
about
I'm Latino?
Brooks.
I mean, so
I
odd.
don't think
My
don't
name
think
is
Brooks liked his mom to be
Tisa,
close
right?
with
So-
Jen. There's an elitist
Definitely.
aspect of it. I don't
You
know.
know what, Rick? What did you think about that interesting scene with Mary and her son? Mary looks her son looks just like Mary. She has a good looking son. She's a beautiful woman. What did
Yeah.
you think of that weird thing where she's trying to like make him become G.I. Joe? Who is sending their son to war saying
She
your
crazy.
granddaddy?
A black man got no time, don't need to be in nobody's army. You kidding me? He don't need to be in the army. And then I was saying too, she was getting on him about eating his cheese sandwich. I'm thinking, listen,
Yeah.
if you don't want the sandwich to be that strong, much cheese. I mean, it's really, she was kooky as usual. And she's talking about putting him in the army for eating a cheese sandwich. I was like, girl, good night.
I love them though. I thought it was odd that she's pushing him into the military. And I also thought that, like, they seem to have a really close relationship. Even the way she keeps trying to sabotage his current girlfriend, implying that she smells like fish if she does this. It's like, Mary, just stop. He's gonna come in the house from the first date and be like, she a hoe. Why is she a hoe? Because, so-and-so in the congregation told me that 3 weeks ago she was with Jim Bob's brother. Mary is determined to break up her son from this girl because she can't stand her baby having attention on someone else. It's the funniest thing, but it's also endearing. What do you guys think about that dynamic?
I love that her son is filming with her. For me,
Yeah.
that's because I would think he's running for the hills. I think he's just maybe because there's trouble in paradise because we don't see Robert Sr. anymore. We didn't see him this season at all, did we? Did
He's
he
playing
show up?
Weekend and Bernie.
No,
Yeah, I think
Robert
he's not. I think he's in a different state.
Yeah, well, that's my point. I think this is why I think her son, she goes like, mommy, please, because your dad's not here, can you film with me? So
Yeah.
I really admire her son for doing that for his mom. It's extremely awkward, but you know what? I have nothing else to say here. I want to leave my peace till when she's talking with Meredith and Brooks.
Right.
Okay, so what about the scene where what's a chin to win? Okay, put it like this. So when we opened to Heather's cosmetic surgery place, I don't know what's going on with the aesthetics of Salt Lake City. I will say I think Mia's handsome ass would be the belle of the ball in Salt Lake City. They like a strong chin. They like a strong jaw. They like a very handsome woman in Salt Lake City. Remember when she was talking about it's a chin to win? And I was like, they all go for that very strong, like very handsome looking woman thing. I think Mia would be very, very happy. The belle of the ball. The belle of the
No, I
ball.
think the handsome woman in Salt Lake City is the Heather. They have one. They have a
No, no,
handsome
no.
woman.
I know, but you know what? I also realized I was very, very harsh on Heather. Heather reminds me of someone. It's not that she's unattractive. You ever see someone that doesn't know what their best features are? You know, the clothes she wears don't really suit her, but it's not like you have a bad body. The makeup you wear doesn't really suit your face, but it's not that you're unattractive. It's like she's trying to be Meredith, but Heather, you're not Meredith's face or her shape. It just looks like she's putting on someone's things. And if she could get a stylist to be like, girl, let me tell you how to soften those angles, bring those eyes out. Let me do something to your hair, pin straight in the middle. It's not for you. Mm-mm. And let me, the ruffles with the shoulders, that's not for you either. She just seems like she's not unattractive. She just doesn't know what makes her attractive,
I
So
I
she doesn't
think
look like Shrek. I take that back.
I think the relationship between Heather and Jen is there are finances involved. I think this is why she keeps going back, and I think she's a handsome man.
Oh
Woman.
no.
No, 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 no. No, she's a
I,
handsome woman.
she's
Did you guys not
she's a
read Jane
handsome woman. I
Austen? That
said
used to be
man
the
by
height
mistake,
of
but that's what I'm
calling
saying
someone
to you.
beautiful. You want a handsome woman so your sons can be handsome and tall and sturdy. Like you want a handsome woman for a wife. But I don't think they have business. I think that Heather genuinely likes Jim. I think that Heather feels like Jen is her black friend, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I
See,
think that she
they
just sees
think she's
also that
black.
Jen gets upset and she says shit. And then when she calms down, she won't apologize, but she knows she didn't mean it. I've had friends like that. It might have been a toxic friendship, but it's like, okay, whatever. You just like roll with the punches.
I can't
Yeah.
stand Heather. Really can't.
Yeah.
So let's see. What about, have you guys heard about Mary and the cult rumors?
Oh, long time ago. But
So
I
what do you guys
consider the
make of that?
story. I heard a lot. I saw interviews with this is when I was believing everything I heard on YouTube. uh, but I do believe there is an aspect of that. I feel like when someone is devout of a certain church, there is, without being, I'm not criticizing, but there is a cultish aspect to that because they support the church, they pay their taxes, blah blah blah. But the rumors, I think they are solid. That's what
But
I
it's odd
think.
to me they're starting these rumors about Mary when the Mormon church is a mess, right?
Oh yeah, they talk about
I just don't understand. It's like you're like, you guys, everybody say bye to Alex. He has to go really quickly.
Yeah, guys, I gotta
His
go.
husband
okay.
Love
calling
you
him for dinner.
three.
All
Yeah, I
right.
gotta
Have
go.
a good
And
night.
also, you guys, make sure you
Okay.
follow Alex Salter TV. He has a YouTube channel, gives great recaps, super, super funny. He's done an in-depth on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica Jane. Alex Salt TV, make sure you give him a quick shout out and tell him Tisa sent you if you guys subscribe and go over to his channel, okay?
All right, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
All right. Have a
Alex.
good night. Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye-bye. No, literally, honestly, I just honestly think that when it comes to, again, maybe Heather, for whatever reason, she sees Jen's heart. That's the only thing you can say because Heather seems certain that she understands what Jen's going through and how she's going to actually be around.
You see,
Last thing, because
I
I
was
know,
gonna say for me, I know that Miss Mariam thinks that it's business. I for some reason just feel like when I look at it, just what I intuit is that Heather is really, she digs her, she loves her. I don't think in a
Yeah,
romantic way. I just think she literally loves this woman to a point where she's almost obsessed with her. And I think
I
that
her love
I would
story
say
herself,
well,
guys.
well
Did
I
you
would
get
say this
the reunion
again. I
last
didn't
night?
watch the season last year, but this,
Oh,
just sort of that vulnerability that was there when she was talking to Whitney last week or whatever about how she was thinking about her, and just the way that they sort of showed the flashbacks of all the terrible things she said. So this is the thing that this is why I was saying the thing about Brooks and with Meredith. I want to go back there, but she also did that to Heather. This sort of this idea that she was sort of crossing the line a little bit, and I think that when they was describing it, I was like, well, how can you be friends with her? Or why would you be sort of missing such a friendship? But I think that she just simply excuses some of her behavior. She's obsessed with her, and it's unhealthy. But I think we've seen it in different franchises where sometimes the ladies have unhealthy friendships.
I think if you watch the reunion, Heather went 180 on the reunion. The whole season she was portraying herself to be this person that's understanding, that tames Jen Shah when she's going berserk and takes heat from her without retaliating. All of a sudden, after a follow or a message from Bad Girl, really, she comes to the reunion and she wanted everybody to attack Jen. I felt like it was like, no, I'm the fan favorite. You're not the fan favorite, and I'm going to bring you down. And when she was surprised that Lisa was defending Jen. She went after Lisa, and she started to cause a rift between Lisa and Meredith. Since the reunion, she kept asking her, "Oh, so you choose Jen over your friend?" She goes, "No, I'm not choosing Jen over my friend, but I'm not gonna leave Jen alone when she's down." You know what I mean? So, uh, Lisa, I started liking Lisa at the reunion because I felt like it was easier to ditch the unpopular girl, which was Jen at that moment, because she had a problem with everybody at that point. And Heather, for me, she loves herself only. And now she saw all the backlash that she had from the reunion, and she's trying to repair that, because that person that was throwing all that venom towards Jen can't be one that loves her. Can't. You love a person like that's that's it was on camera, it was on Housewives reunion. That was way below the belt. I don't believe
Yeah.
she loves Jen. I don't.
No, I completely agree with you on that one, right?
Yeah,
I
she's
could
she.
completely I think I sorry. I completely agree with you on that one. Both of you guys, for her to actually be that forgiving, there has to be just some, like you said, there's some deep love in that relationship. She's willing to forgive her. She's willing to move forward. They feel a lot. Jen's whole persona. Now here's the thing: before all this shit came down with the feds and Jen, who was considered, and Mariam, you might know, who was considered, because I know me and Mel, this is like our first season really getting into it. Who was considered the person with the most money? Was the reason they kind of calced Jen's temper tantrums is because Jen had the most money?
Yeah, everybody thought, nobody knew
Oh,
that Jen
okay.
was renting. Jen was throwing these lavish parties for everybody. She threw a party for Meredith, which was more a party for herself. And then even like Lisa was like, well, my birthday is a few days apart, but okay, this party is not for me. But she is the one, like everybody thought, oh my God, she was like the Erica Jane in a spending, but from Utah. You know what I mean? Everybody thought she had that money, but we did not know that she has been under investigation for more than a decade, and that
Mm-mm.
she has that something like a Ponzi scheme, which I predict what is her defense. She's going to use the same defense as the Twitter account, that it's not her. She's going to say, "Oh, these are my employees," which I would kind of believe it, but there's
Oh
her.
Lord.
You know why? Because she's so into herself. Like she does glam every day. These people that do glam every day, we only have 24 hours a day. So she's taking half of that day just to do her hair, makeup, nails. I think she has a nail artist like on the clock over there.
Can I say this? I want to ask you this to Miriam. So you probably watch OC, and you're right. You watch OC.
Yeah, I
So
watched them
what?
all.
So in a way, although I love Vicky, in a way, the way that Vicky used to mourn and beg, I mean, had drag out, knocked down with Tamara. They say things to each other, say crazy things. For
Yeah.
me, Jen and oh my gosh, Jen and Heather, almost, so to me in that relationship, Jen is Tamara and Heather is Vicky, where the simple fact is that Heather is sort of like, it's toxic, but I still can't really function without my girlfriend. So even though, and I think with Tamara and Vicky, they also had business dealings at one point. So I agree with you. Sometimes when you're friends with somebody, you definitely get really enmeshed with them with business and things. I just
Mm.
think that, I just think in general, for me, my little psychoanalysis of Heather, I think that she's she's a nice lady, but I think she may have self-esteem issues. I think that she loves her friends. I think she's codependent. I think that she's really needy, and I think that maybe that's why she sort of takes more punishment than she should from many people. I think.
I agree with you, but your comparison here won't apply. You know why? It took seasons, several seasons, for Vicky and Tamra to start going against each other. Before Brooks, they were as thick as thieves together. Nobody could say anything.
I was going to ask you, how long has Jen and Heather known each other? Was it the show, or did they know for years?
No, they say that they knew each other, but to get them to have this friction and these fights on a reunion, it took them one season. Season.
Yep. Okay, I was going to say, was Jen saying nasty things about her during the last year? Because was she calling her names last year?
No. What Jen was hurt by Heather because Heather didn't trust Jen. And this is where I think there is money involved, because I feel like maybe at some point Jen was funding her business, you know? She goes, oh, you don't trust me like the others? Yeah.
There actually might be something to that, actually, right? Jen has all those plastic surgery spots. She's super tight with her. But why does she need to forgive her now and be like, oh, I'm going to give her another chance just because she was funding her, though?
No, there's money involved. 100,000%. And she wants to be liked. She wants to be that cool girl that, because she wasn't a good time. She wants her daughters to be good time. I want my daughters to be wild. Like, oh gosh, like who says that? I want my daughters to live their lives, but they don't need to be wild the way she is portraying. Like I don't know. She's really overcompensating, and she feels like
that's true. That's true. But so she reminds me because of that. So I'm not sure about the Mormon religion, but that part I picked up on. I was thinking, what was this thing? Oh, I love her name, Leah Remedy. So she escaped from the Scientology. So I'm thinking with Heather, she may have some unresolved feelings about Mormon, practices. So like you said in that scene, she's like, okay, well, my daughters, I want you to be the opposite of this, but I think you can go totally far. I think you can be a good person. Like you said, you don't have to be wild if you're not practicing Mormon religion. You can still be a very decent, quiet bookworm. So you don't have to be totally radical. So I was like, well, really? I don't. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly.
She's trying too hard. She's trying too hard to be cool, to be open with her daughters. I feel like she knows that played well with the audience. But for me, I saw her true colors in that reunion when she was attacking Lisa and Jen, and like viciously. She was vicious.
But I was going to say too, as a new viewer, I'm from my objective view, because I'm not too strongly with the history of it. I will say this: I did like when she told one of her daughters, "I'm not going to push you out of Mormon. If you want to go to church, I'll go with you. I don't believe in it, but I will go with you." For me, I don't know the back history, but I like that scene. I like the mom saying to her daughter, "Listen, do whatever you want. And if you want to go to be a Mormon, I don't believe in it, but I'm never going to let you go to a church alone. I'm going to support you. I'm going to be there with you." I like that. I was very moved by that.
That was super sweet.
Yeah, that was sweet. I'm not saying that, but I feel like even her daughter feels like, oh my God, you can't wait for me to get out of the house. Like, Mom, chill. You don't need to push me. I feel like she's doing too much. And when someone does too much, in my eyes, they lose the genuine aspect of it. I feel like she's playing definitely for the camera. And I feel like now her 180 with Jen is for the cameras, because she saw how everybody saw how vicious she was. But now she must be kicking herself in the ass, because if she knew that all Jen's troubles with the law would surface, maybe she wouldn't even try to be friends with her, And the way she outed Jen, let's talk about that. When she came and watched What Happens Live last time, she said, "I knew that her business were unsavory, but I didn't know they were illegal." Heather, she said on live TV. She said it on live TV to Andy, and then she asked Andy, "Oh my God, is this live TV?" And Andy told her, "Yeah, it is." So the cat was out of the hat. So for me, it kind of like she outed herself. So you're friends with someone who business is unsavory, but how can an unsavory business not be illegal?
But are they
There's no
still
such
friends?
thing.
Because if somebody
Jen,
did that to me,
according
I'd be
to her,
like,
yeah.
you did that on purpose. If I'm just like, listen, I knew Meredith, I knew Mariam had like really, really, really unsavory business, but I didn't know it was illegal. Oops, is this live TV? It's like, girl, stop. The cameras are in your face. You're on studio light. It's watch what happens live. So are they friends now? Because if they're not, it leads me to believe that she was really throwing some shade and trying to play stupid.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
she was
Is this live
totally.
stream YouTube? Sorry, guys. Like,
This is
whatever.
why I'm telling you, if she knew this was gonna come to surface, I don't think she was going to try to rekindle things with Jen. When she tried, she was trying to fix her, like what she did in the reunion, because she was way too harsh. She was horrible. Like, if I'm glad she did it, she wasn't armed, because I never seen such a thing. Someone going from being endearing and accepting and loving, and this is my Heather voice, accepting and loving, and to that. Oh my God. And Heather, she lost me when she said that she's a self-made woman. She isn't. She's an elitist. She's a privileged white woman
Heather,
who had the
she is
hefty
privileged and a
alimony
leader.
from her ex-husband, who's still cool with her. So she over there, I'm like, are you kidding me? You struggle? Like, how did you struggle when you had like all this, the way you live still with your daughters, and you opened a business? No, you're not self-made. You're not. But Jen
Yeah,
Shah
you're
was
married to
really
a
good
billionaire.
customer.
The kid, I mean, you were married into a billionaire family. The kids are going to be fine. But you know what I wanted to talk about before we go? Because I'll agree with you guys. This episode gave me a 3.5. It was like, what are we doing? Like, it was all these cutesy scenes, and I'm like, really? Nobody has anything else going on in their lives. But the drama that's happening off with Whitney and Jen and Mary. Mary exposing Jen for being a racist. Not Whitney. Jen backing her up, saying I should have known. What is it with Whitney's spirit that really irks me? I don't know why, but she gives me big time snake
Everything.
vibes.
She gives me snake vibes too from the get-go. Everybody loves her because, yeah, she's cute and this and that. But then I felt like she used her dad and his sobriety for a storyline as well.
She
At
said she
first, I
hasn't
was
spoken
like,
to him in a year.
yes, exactly. I'm like, wow. So she really, I feel like her dad felt used because he wasn't getting a piece of that check and he needs money. Her dad doesn't have the money that she has, or, I don't know how rich she is, but she gives me snake vibes. She loves to stir the pot. She twerks over the fence, and she's trying too much. Like her story, and she's being like, what happened? Why it was so low for us this episode? They came right after that golden episode of Potomac.
The what? I'm
Nobody,
sorry,
like,
what?
I think we felt it was so low and great because they just came after Potomac.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that episode gave us life. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. It was funny. So, and then comes what? The most exciting part for me in the Salt Lake episode was the fish coming out of that hole. I was really excited about that.
She said the fish. Oh my
Yes,
It was like, yes, I live. But listen, with the Whitney thing, Whitney's an interesting character. And Mariam, you're right about that. But Whitney's an interesting character in the way I've never seen somebody be so provocative and so vulgar. And here's the thing, I don't care if someone flaunts their sexuality, do you? When I consider somebody vulgar, I guess that's not the right word. I consider it very cringy. Cringy. Like when
Yeah.
she's on the pole, when she's face down, bottoms up, when she's doing this, when she's imitating, and I'm just like, yuck. Like, just like there's something very like yucky.
Thirsty.
Stop.
She seems very thirsty for attention in a way. She's very thirsty.
And even the way she moves, it's like when she was on the
her
pole,
and
it's like very
Heather-
disjointed, almost arachnoid. Like, please stop it.
Her and Heather are two sides of the same coin. Heather is pretty vulgar too. The way she
But I
talks
don't
about
mind
dating.
Heather. But here's the thing with Heather, I don't when I call somebody vulgar, I guess the word is, I should say it's cringy.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
I don't care if somebody is in their sexual, I don't care. Like, to me, I'm like, do you? I find it amusing, funny, whatever. But when it's cringy, like the way out the blue, she'll be looking to make like a blowjob joke, or she's like, this is what it is, and she's on all fours, and I'm just like, can I please, like,
Oh my God!
I don't want to
Did you
see
see
this. She's on
Never
the
Seen
she's
episode?
on the pole looking like a 2-year-old, like disjointed. Like, I don't want to see this. This
Okay,
is
and you're saying that. Did you watch the Never Before Seen? Like the one that they add the things that didn't air the first time the episode came out?
I think I saw that.
Oh my, did you see her talking to her husband about a dream with a ghost? Oh God.
Okay. That's what I was too. I was like, where is the remote? There's something so cringy about it, and this and that. But above all, she strikes me as a natural born hater. I don't know if she's not really as happy as she
She's
says
a
she is.
mean girl.
Yeah, that's what it is. She's a mean girl because there's something very cruel in her spirit, and something I don't know about her. I hope I'm wrong, but every time I watch her, I'm like, yeah, I would say everybody's talking about why is Heather being friends with Jen, and I'm just like, girl, why are you so cool with Whitney? Whitney is nobody's friend, and she's one of those people. She strikes me. Don't ask me why, but I get this vibe that she delights in people's downfall. But while you're in that downfall, she'll be drying your tears and patting on the back like it's going to be
Like
okay,
Heather.
because she's loving the downfall. She wants to be
Like
right
Heather.
there in front of you.
Just like Heather. Heather is like that. Heather
Is she
is
really?
cringy with her daughters. She's cringy with her daughters. She's cringy when she talks about her own, like what she wants to do. And then she kept saying, but I never did that. I think she did. I think she did. I think that's a lie. I believe Lisa. I think she used to flash people. I think she did, because she got very upset about that. And you don't get upset about something that's not true. Period. End of story. Just like Robin Dixon says, but she doesn't apply to herself. But there's truth to that. Both of them are cringy. One portrays herself, oh, I never did anything for me. I didn't live. So I want my daughters to live. Okay, but you don't need to push them.
So
Kids will experiment.
so what I'm noticing with Heather and with Whitney, based on the way you describe it, and both of you describe them, for me, what I get is repressed women who never repressed as ladies, as growing up as girls with religion. And I think that they are sort of disjointed where now they are adults, they are maybe doing things with shock value or doing things sort of to push the envelope where, where you would sort of, you couldn't really let go as you were younger. Now that you're a woman, you're sort of exercising yourself from the Mormon, beliefs. You're doing the most, you're doing extra. Most women, like you were describing, wouldn't act as crazy as they are. I think maybe it's just the way they grew up. They grew up very repressed, and now they go in the opposite, total annoying direction, probably.
Even Whitney's marriage is for shock value. They both were married to other people, and they had a hot affair. And he's older than her by like how much? 15 years or so. She could be dating his kids. This is what's cringy about it.
Yeah.
Do I see longevity for their marriage? I don't. I give it 5 more years. I'm gonna do a Vicky here. I give it 5.
You know what? You guys picked on something. That's the right word. Whitney likes to defile things. That's Whitney's personality. She likes to defile things. That's it. I think about the marriages. I think about her inappropriateness. I think about that. She likes to.
But did you ever hear that joke or that idea that they say, oh well, who's the wildest girl in college is usually the Catholic girl? It's this idea that if you grew up very very strict, that when you go away from that, you become crazy. And I don't know, maybe that's the same thing with this kind of Mormon beliefs, is that if you grow up very strict, you become absolutely crazy. I think for me personally, if you have any struggles or traumas or judgments against yourself from your upbringing, you work it out in counseling, you talk to somebody about it, you try to work on yourself about it, because if you're acting inappropriate or you're not really in yourself, then maybe there's something not connecting there. It doesn't seem like you're totally yourself. And maybe these ladies are not fully comfortable being themselves. And then they just sort of do things that are not really, I think, again, like Scientology, people get lost when they get sort of stuck in these sort of religions and things. When they escape them, they become more exaggerated and more unhealthy in a way, So, yeah.
You know what? I will say this though. To Heather's defense, Mariam, you said an interesting thing when you said if someone's not guilty, you're going to let it go, right? Um, it's like when somebody's like, oh, if you're not guilty, you're just going to let it go. It took me maturity because I was raised in a family that if you are accused of something and you sit there quietly, like, wasn't me, everybody's like, shut up, liar, you did it. I grew up in a family where you literally had to jump on the table and like scream to it wasn't me, because you had to show that you were so insulted. And if you didn't, then you must be guilty. So on that thing, I'm willing to let it go because as I get older, and I'm around different people, I'm like, oh, okay, so the way now culturally it is no, the person that is not bothered is the person telling the truth, right? So on that
Mm-hmm.
aspect, I'm willing to cut Heather some slack. But Mariam, I do agree with your personality profile of her. That's what it was. And even the way Whitney is like a lot racist, apparently, according to Mary and Jim. Whitney, again, like I said, from that first episode, um, in season 1, when she's like, "Hi, my name's Heather, and I like all the things that are bad that I shouldn't. I like black
Yeah,
men, I
I
like
that.
LGBTQ," and I was just
Oh,
like,
how homophobic is that? So,
"What's
oh,
that?"
I like things that I'm not supposed to. Like, what do
She
you
said
mean by
all the
that?
bad things, black
All the
men,
bad
and I was just
things.
like,
Yeah, this is where I'm like, damn, like, did she really say that? And let's be honest, the master puppeteer here is Heather. Whitney does everything Heather wants to get that
"She
free
does.
Botox and free nails.
She does. She does. She does. She does. So, you guys, really quick, thank you so much for joining me. I know this episode was so dry. We should have actually wrapped it up in Potomac, but
Oh
then we
my
would
God.
have been mad that we wasted
We
another
were more
hour
fun.
watching it.
I give this
Listen,
a two.
and I just found out through a
The
few
chat.
people that Kenya was on Dancing with the Stars. So apparently we went on during Dancing with the Stars. So we were like really fighting against all the ratings. But everybody, thanks for joining us. Before we go, I
Kenya,
want to give you
more
guys
hair care.
Kenya more
Oh,
hair care. But I want to get you guys' opinion on one, you told me what you rate the episode, but two, how do you think the producers can actually improve this mess? What
okay. Yeah.
dynamics or clashes would you like to see? Like, let's do a wish list. Like, okay, this shit is dry. It needs some seasoning. What seasonings would you put on it?
What? Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I
Me.
read
Okay.
something I laughed
Okay.
on the
Okay. So for me, I want to see a lot more Mary. Just in general. I don't want to see her escape any events. I want to see her fishing. I want to see her everywhere. Um, I want to see Jen and Meredith actually sit down and talk about things. I want to see more of that. Maybe resolution, hopefully, but we don't see as possible. What else? I want to see Heather dating somebody. That might be interesting. Um, yeah,
I'm
that's
not
about it.
interested.
And also this episode again, besides Mary, I'm going to give it maybe a 2.9.
I'm Mariam. Do you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
Well, I will go next so that you can finish everything up. I feel like, what do I want to see? Like, the producers, they don't need to do anything. They already have a golden goose. Her name is Jen Shah. That's it. They really don't need to. Everybody, even if it's only going to be at the end of the season, but everybody's watching just because they know that's going to happen. I think she's going to get arrested at the last episode. This is what's going to happen. So during the filming, nothing. I don't know when they're traveling, because they did like a rewind when the season started. They showed them inside the van, and then they went backwards, so that all this is happening right
Okay.
now. I feel like the producers really don't need to do anything. They have Jen Shah's story coming up to blow up everything. I would love to see Mary more. She is really like, oh my God, like passing gas in front of Brooks. So that is okay, Meredith. I would have disengaged right there and then. I don't need to smell your smell. I don't. Like, but that was funny. That was for me the highlight. I never thought I would say that Mary is my Rose of Salt Lake City. I really like Mary in the show, not outside. If she's a cult leader or not, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know. And I don't want to know, to be honest with you. But she's perfect. She's this weird housewife,
Yeah.
quirky, with money, and she's funny. And even when she wants to be offensive, she's offensive. And remember, she was the voice of reason actually when she was talking about Heather, saying, "I don't understand when someone calls you a racist and you want to still be friends with them. I don't call that a friendship. I called, what did she call it? She used another word.
I forget what the word, but she called it like a situationship or
Yeah,
something like, yeah, like,
toxic something that's
yeah.
dumb or anything." And she was right, and that is right. I feel like Heather always have an ulterior motive. I want to be honest with you. I don't think Heather adds anything to the show. Even when she goes like, "Oh, in the pandemic everybody was zooming, so my business is booming, and I want to just keep putting botox in people's faces and fillers in everybody's lip." And really, so that is like how we empower each other, or woman, or you're trying to sound like. She's so vain. She adds nothing. She's good just to have an end of season party at her place. I will give her that. Okay, promote your business there. The business funded by your ex-husband, not yours.
Exactly. You know what? I will agree with both of you. This episode, fine, I'll say it. I sucked, right? I do think that they are overlooking a Jim and Mary Crosby. And again, the reason it sucked is because I think it's just a Bravo formula. I don't think it's anything with the producers, but Bravo likes to go high, low, high, low, high, low. And this was like that calm before the storm. So probably next episode is really going to give, right? Because they're trying to stretch it out to what?
I don't think
18
so.
episodes? Yeah, exactly. They're trying, and then an 18-part reunion. But I do think that Mary Crosby, I know they use her for clickbait, like you guys said. You see her all over. If you didn't watch, I thought before I started watching Salt Lake that she was a bigger part of Salt Lake. She is the fun. She is excitement. She is like the Mad Hatter. She's kooky. She's zany. She's crazy. She's in on the joke, but not in on the joke. She's dead
And she's
serious.
married to her grandpa.
Yeah, she's married to her grandpa. She has her son is just dating. So you have that little storyline about, the empty nester leaving the house. She's reality TV gold, and she's funny effortlessly, right? So the fact that they're not utilizing that, and we're looking at Heather talk to her daughter about whether she wants to be a Mormon. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespecting the Mormon religion, but I don't care. If you said, "Oh, so do you think you're going to be Christian?" Why are we talking about this? Who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't like religion in these
yeah,
housewives.
I don't either. But it was just something so ridiculous. Like, we're spending all this time talking about Botox, a chin to win. I do like Jenny.
Yeah,
I do
I
like
like.
Jenny a lot. I like her family dynamic. I like all of that with her. I do like Mary. Jen can stay because Jen is a tornado of chaos and drama, and of course you need that. That's a really good point you said, Meredith, about probably the season finale will be her getting arrested, so they can string this out, and I'll be air punching the screen.
Yeah,
Meredith,
too.
listen again. I understand Meredith, and I understand the situation she is. If her son feels disrespected or put out, there can't be any peace in the house. I can't bring and make peace with someone that my child feels like disrespected them and humiliated them on national. I just can't do that. So it's kind of like Jen just apologized, but the fact that Jen won't apologize, and I don't even think. But anyway, who else is it? And Lisa. Maybe Lisa needs more of a role too. I like Lisa.
Yeah, but Lisa,
When I say I
she's
like
trying
her,
to
I like
bring
the
them
energy she
together.
brings to scenes. The way hold on, Barry, she'll come in like at the birthday party in season 1. Lisa will come in slinking, dressed in all black, and like with a scowl on her face. And I'll be like, "Girl, what are you doing?" And she's like, "This is so weird. Like, I'm from New York. We don't do this in New York. In New York, we wear black." She's that kid that moves to a small town that talks about like, "Yeah, where I'm from, there were gangs. Where I'm from, there was this." It's just like Lisa is so funny with her. "I'm from New York. In New York, we never do this." And so that's the thing, is like Lisa is so ridiculous in the fact she wants to bring this New York energy where it's like, "Lisa, stop. You're in Salt Lake City." So I want more of Lisa, just because to me she's comedic fun. She is.
You know what I was going to say too. What I like too is we know that Mary is kooky through the screen, but I also feel like her family knows it too. So in all the scenes she's with her family, obviously they love her, but they smiling all the time. They get all her little jokes,
Yes.
even when she farted in front of Brooks, even the person that's polarizing, they even got in it. So she. So someone, Saturday Night Live, when people do the skits and they have to try very hard not to laugh. I feel like every time
Yeah.
somebody's in a scene with her, they trying very hard not to laugh at her humor. Also, I was going to say one thing too. I think that can we leave the snow? Because for me personally, if they shook it up, and even though we had COVID times, if they were able to transport the ladies maybe to Nevada or somewhere a little more sunny where they can, do something a little more sunny, that might be interesting. I don't like just the white all the time. The white on TV all the time, like the snow and the colors, just a little boring. So change up the colors if,
You
if
know, that is
possible.
not
And then
boring.
also, I was going to say, the last thing, the religion. So for me, I agree with you, Tisa, but I think that this show is weird because it is based on religion in a way. Like it's a big cornerstone of Salt Lake. They got the ladies and everything. I remember the first promotions. I didn't watch the first season, but I remember a lot of the promotions in the newspapers were, look behind the Mormon church. Let's see what these real women are behind, the Mormon walls. So that was the mystery that the viewers would get into to see how these ladies really would be against the Mormon or do the Mormon or whatever it is. So that's a big part. So I actually, even though I'm not a part of it, I don't like religion, I'm still curious about how these women who have
But
escaped
are
it.
they talking about Mormon religion really? You see
Well,
that
I'm still curious.
the
I
ones
would
that
say, yeah, I
they're
don't.
not Mormon.
I'm curious about Scientology, Mormon. I'm always curious about these things, so I want to know more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the show they talk about over there. It's always over there, and they have.
I want
This
them
is
to go
why I
deeper.
don't like when they talk about
I want
marrying,
them to go.
because
I want them to get. So
because
you
your
say,
church is
yeah. So
is
you know
up
what you
there.
said. What can make it less boring? Give me some more. Give me more real moments about. I'm very curious about Mormon religion and just Scientology. I read books about this all the time. So give me more. Give me deep. Give me real. Don't sugarcoat it.
But here's the thing, and Mel, okay, I can see your point. But here's the thing, Mel. No real Mormons are going on a Bravo reality TV show.
So they got
These are all outcast Mormons. These are either outcast Mormons or they're Mormon by conversion, so they're not in the inner circle.
Exactly.
It's like we're not even going. But I see what you're saying. Maybe get the Mormon holidays, tradition. I know I'm acting like they're from like Mars, but I don't know what goes on in that church, right? To
Or
your point.
maybe they should take tips from Leah Remini on how to really investigate and expose and really go deep. I wanted them to go real deep into it. I want to know more about it.
Bravo.
Yeah, but that's
You
not
saw the way Bravo
that's not the
covered Black
premise of
Lives
the
Matter. They are
show.
not going deep.
That's true.
It's not
That's
in their
true.
vocabulary.
That's
But
true. That's true.
Bravo's not going to do that. For me, it's like, by the way, Lisa's tagline is the best. I love myself enough for me and you, so I don't care if you hate me or not. I love that. I love that. Just like Lisa, love that. Love that. I feel like they are always like pointing to over there. Like they're not talking about their religion. They talk just like it's very conservative, but they don't say about the rotten stuff that happens in
That's
there.
right.
It does.
So that's what
Because
makes the show. So that's what makes the show boring because the characters are, except for Jen, are not very compelling. The only thing that sells. So if Mariam and Tisa, y'all the executives, I'm coming to you with this kind of show. Say, I want to talk about Mormons. Well, right off the bat, you go boring. But if you talk about exposure or something deep. So the thing is, this season we're not getting the deep. We got the shock value at the end of the season with the arrest, but the filler is very basic. So everything they're doing is what the other franchise is doing. So the little arguments, a little bit of these sort of boring little get-togethers, that don't work for Salt Lake because it's just a boring town in a way, So you really have to bump it up with the uniqueness, the weirdness. You got to go deep with that because if you don't have that, you're going to have a boring episode. So that's just what I think.
Here's the thing about the religion thing. Again, the thing that bored me was not the fact that she was like, if you want to go to the church, I'll go with you. It's the fact that how do you say that shit, but you don't even take that time to explain why she's not in the church again.
I like
why
that.
is this?
Yes,
Why is
come
that?
on.
It's like shit
more.
saying, if you want to go and re-enter the church, I'll go with you. No.
So now, let me ask you this. So Tisa, do you think it's the producers who and Bravo itself who are not really going deeper? Like you said, when you're in school, you have a report and they go, well, you didn't finish it yet. You got to go deeper. Go back, start over. I think if you're a producer, dig deeper. Like you just said, I love those questions. So if you were the producer sitting before her, you probably would ask her, well, what do you mean by that? Give me more information.
Exactly. What do you
Yeah,
mean? Why do you think? Well, would you
well,
go? Why wouldn't you go? Well,
I
what would
would
it mean? Just
absolutely.
anything. Instead, it was like we're filling in the blanks from what we know about the Mormon religion.
So
So it's like
I
Bravo
need,
just treats it like
so
a backdrop,
yeah, I need
almost
T.
like yeah.
I want to say I need Tisa and Mariam for you all to go to Salt Lake, become producers, start grilling the ladies, start following them around, give us the real juice, because that's the only way we're going to have a good show. We need somebody to be aggressive with
It's
the ladies.
I get that, but it's just weird that again somebody made a good comment. I forget who it was. It might have been Anita, and I always thought this too. I thought Salt Lake City was going to get canceled, even though the first season was really good. But I thought because nobody was watching it, it was going to get. And we see this by only 52 people in the chat, right? I
And
thought it was
Bravo
going.
gave them the worst episode ever. And Bravo
I
is
don't know if
giving
we're
them
ever going to do another chat about Salt Lake City. We'll see. We're going to wait for Jen Shaw to start burning money
Get
on her
arrested.
front yard.
Yeah.
No, but
Bravo set them for failure. Bravo set them for failure. I think they were gonna be at best just like two-season franchise
Right.
because
but
they were
here's the
doing them at
thing.
10 o'clock at night. Who's watching 10
Well,
o'clock?
true. Well, I'm up late, but
Well, we
Mariam, to
are.
your point,
That's
but
true.
to your point and to Mel's point, um, I do feel like they set them up for failure. Where because of the Jin Saul stuff, you're coming in hot. All eyes are on you. You start off hot, and then you rewind it 4 months ago, and we're like, nobody cares. You need to
That's
like
right.
literally have one
That's right.
episode, bring us up to speed, and
Yep.
then boom, jump into it.
That's right.
That and so yeah, but Bravo's trying to get 18 episodes out of this, and we
And they're
all
gonna make
came because we want to
8-part
see the Jim
reunion.
Shaw.
And they're
Yeah,
gonna make 8-part reunion. Oh,
and instead
I
we're
can't
like
believe they're doing
literally
Beverly Hills 4 parts.
yeah,
That's
and
gonna be
instead
such a waste of time.
yes, and
Yeah.
instead we're
Yeah.
on a frozen tundra watching them ice fishing. Where even in the movie Fargo it was boring as hell. So we're on
Yeah.
a frozen tundra, and you're right. It's not that the snow. Somebody said, did Mel just say the snow was boring? The first tundra, you're like, oh wow, that's striking, and then you're just like, all right, so what else are we doing? Like we're just
That's
sitting here
right.
on the ice. So we have all that going on, and you have this whole thing about what's going on with Jen, and even to the point of if Jen's the storyline, then get those cameras in. I want them in the bedroom. I want them in the kitchen. I want you to give me all these family dynamics, all this making of a murderer, so I can and instead you guys are sitting there talking about, I don't know, Lisa's
Meredith and
liquor,
Brooks.
the chin,
Yeah.
the win,
You
Whitney.
know something? I feel like one of my favorite episodes in Salt Lake City, not that there are many, but like that was my favorite, was when Jen was hosting a dinner at her home and they came in couples. I like the dynamic. I like when they bring the man over.
Mhm.
It's a different dynamic, even when how the woman they behave. And you felt like, like even Meredith and Lisa and Jen, they were really close friends, you know there was friendship there, and they don't show that anymore for many reasons. We don't know if Jen Shah and Coach are still married. We don't know if
Mhm.
they were ever. We don't know if he has a side piece. We don't know. And
True.
and Seth, now him and Meredith are again overcompensating for the affair that happened before. I don't think that it was ever in her plans that was going to become part of the show. I think Meredith
True.
feels like Jen really betrayed her, and then her son did that. Oh, okay, my son did that, but you don't talk about my son. Like, your son talked about her, and your son is not a young child. You could have squashed it so that it didn't escalate, but she had a vendetta against her, and she just like she wanted to portray herself as that perfect person. She was just not living with Seth, with her husband in the same city, because her husband keeps moving. That was her storyline, not that they
Yeah.
were separated and she had a
True.
boyfriend in New York.
But I think that we all agree basically the producers are very lazy. They're not doing a good job. They need to dig deeper. And the thing is too, so if me, you, and if we went there ourselves, as nosy as we are, we probably have more fun, going there and asking questions than what we've seen on TV. It's not really that yeah, it's not that entertaining. Although we have a big blockbuster ending because we got the feds, we got all that, so we're gonna look forward to that. But yeah, the producers are not doing a good job. It's not really
Yeah.
fleshed out. They're not asking the right questions. we have questions about Whitney and other people, but yet they're not really probing, going deeper.
But Mel, this is what I'm going to tell you. What will be lackluster when we know what's happening? We don't know. The only interesting thing would be if they really zoned in and they dug into their tapes about Jen Shah and her family dynamic, just like Tissa said. But we know she got arrested and she filed and she's out now. We know that. What is going to be shocking? We already know. But there is what led to that. We don't know. And we would like to know. This is why this is going to be a snooze fest, to be honest with you. They're trying to milk this rift or this debacle, Brooks v. Virgin thing, and it's not going to work because it's getting old, to be honest with you. And I am team Jen against Brooks, because I feel like, Brooks, you did wrong first. If you don't want retaliation, you don't poke the bear. You could have told your mom aside, Mom, I don't like you to be with her. I don't think she's at your level. But he chose to do that. He ridiculed her on national TV. He did. And we cannot overlook that. So as much as Jan is wrong, like, I would want to defend myself, and especially because we don't know her dynamic with her sons. This is another missed opportunity. I would love to see more of Jen, the mom, with her sons. What it is to raise, her sons are Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what it is to raise two Black kids in the Mormon community in Salt Lake City. Like, I would like to know more of that. And we don't, because they're looking at the shiny object, which is not really
and not even do anything. We'll wrap things up right here, but you hit it on the head. You and Mariam, they're looking at the shiny object. The production's being lazy. You got this shiny object, and what do? Put it in your pocket and be like, I'll show you next week. And it's like, that's what I came to see.
That's
you
right.
know, instead of teasing us, instead of going, ooh, look at this, they're just like, we'll see you next week.
Like,
yeah,
and I did that. Yeah, and
I think they're overestimating how much people are actually involved in the show. Because I will say something, the first season, I didn't see it in real time.
Me neither.
Alex and Brooke Ashley were like, you need to get into it. And I binged on it. And the first season was fantastic. But this season, maybe they have nervous, maybe they're jitters, maybe they're just like, shit, everybody's expecting a masterpiece and they have like performance anxiety. I really don't know, but there's just something off about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the women, they were like, they dumped all their storylines. If we remember, like there was like the scandalous way that, or the affair between Whitney and her husband, the way they got married. That would have been enough to carry her for the season. Talking about that, and I was like, wow, they're ballsy. But then she added her dad and addiction. So they were all doing everything. And then there was Jen, and it smells like hospital. Mary, Cosby situation. And Mary, she wasn't supposed to be a housewife, but then they saw on camera what she was. Then they added her after the fact. This is why she wasn't filming, she wasn't in the same scenes at the beginning. She came later, and most of her scenes, she's in her closet alone, talking on the phone. So it seems like they were all add-ons after the fact when they said, oh no, she needs to be part of this from the beginning. And then we have Meredith with her son, with her exquisite son, very entitled, very bratty, and her husband that doesn't live with her. And then Jan outs them that, oh, you were with a boyfriend in New York, you know? And then you have Heather, who is like, oh, that oppressed wife, she was born, she just wanted to raise that perfect Mormon family, blonde girls, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, he left me for someone else. Like, oh, God, I can't. Like, really? And I like all the bad things. I like sex, I like drinking, and I like black men. And I'm not supposed to like them.
Yeah, no, listen, we'll leave it at that. I completely agree with what you guys are saying, but we're going to keep on with these reviews. we're going to keep on with the reviews. So check your local channel, right? The Salt Lake City review might move up, will move up earlier next week. We're going to do it earlier so we don't interrupt Dancing with the Stars. Because, we're going to try to keep our girl Kenya on. Sunday night, we're going to do the Real Housewives of Potomac recap at 9:30. And of course, Wednesday at 9:30, we are going to come with Beverly Hills. I have a feeling we're going to stick with Salt Lake City a little while longer because I feel like Bravo is going to kind of dig in there and it's going to pick up. It better. If not, then you're going to see us on Monday night just talking trash. You're going to see us on Monday night.
I won't be here. I will be away. So
Yeah. Something's off, but I agree with you. And I'll leave it at this. The last thing, Heather's comments, I don't know. Maybe Salt Lake. I don't know. It's kind of like smelling quasi-racist, good blonde girl. I don't know. Just it's very that you see people as their components and not as a person. But I'm going to withhold judgment and wait for the rest of the season. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mell, Meredith, listen, I'm sorry, Meredith, Mell, Mariam, you guys made.
I'm disengaging.
You guys made this slow.
You messed up my name. I'm disengaging. Period.
No, so this is not paid by anyone. And Mell, New York City, you guys made this episode, which was slow as molasses, just come alive. So thank you once again. And also, if you guys are into the Real Housewives of Potomac, we did a fantastic rant and recap.
Yes, we did.
That was funny and that was popping. Go on and check it out. It is there. Follow Not Paid by Anybody on Instagram. And also, Mell, New York City is going to be starting a YouTube page soon, but you will know because we'll have them on as a guest, links to his page, and also we're going to go over to his page and do some lives and support him too. Okay, so yes. And whenever Mariam wants to get around to it, of course, and also you guys send present wishes to Mariam because she is going on vacation. She's going to be living the life. She's going to be gone for 10 days. So let's put some positive energy out there. Okay,
14 days.
Yes,
2
14 days, 2 weeks.
Oh my God, I'm going to be like when I remember that I'm not watching Beverly Hills live.
Don't worry. We'll figure out a way. We'll just text you and be like, oh my God, Erica's just been arrested. And you'll be like, what? Just joking, girl. Enjoy your margarita. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Listen, have fun, Mariam. Okay. And thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Alex Salt TV and everybody else that joined us. Lost Love, our candle company, all the Tisa Tattles. Anita, definitely. Thank you guys so much, each and every. And Morgan D, of course. Thank you so much, you guys. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, and of course, Minerva. Minerva, thank you so much for joining us. All right. You guys have a good night.